just to the extent where this is adversely affecting people who live in coastal regions and communities worldwide that depend on marine areas for food and livelihood. As such, concerted action is needed so that the sources of our livelihood are exploited in a sustainable manner for the present generation and generations to come. Therefore, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the choice of the theme of your third conference, Sustainable Use of Africa's Oceans and Seas, is no accident, as it captures the fundamental issues involved in the future of sustainable maritime development in Africa. Sustainable use of the oceans and seas featured prominently in the 2050 Africa Integrated Maritime Strategy, what we normally call the 2050 strategy, the 2030 UN Agenda on Sustainable Development, as well as the African Union Agenda 2063, which we refer to the Africa we want. All three strategic documents are working in unison for the good of Africa through the sustainable use of natural resources. At the United Nations level, goal number 14 of the Sustainable Development Goals aims to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources, and emphasizes the strong linkages between marine biodiversity and broader sustainable development objectives. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must congratulate the African Union for dedicating the period 2015 to 2025 as the decade of African seas and oceans, and as well as taking the very bold step to declare 25th of July every year as Africa's Day of the Seas and Oceans. I repeat, 25th of July every year as Africa's Day of the Seas and Oceans. This declaration coincided with the official launch of the 2050 strategy. I would like to believe that all the African maritime administrations present in this hall today would have laid out elaborate plans to celebrate the 2017 Africa Day of the Seas and Oceans come July and ensure that this special day is institutionalized. Turning now to the rest of your program for the conference, I have had a very detailed look at the program, especially on your 5 thematic sessions, which cover critical subjects in combating piracy and other maritime crimes, seafarers training, human capacity building, regional initiatives for sustainable development, and institutionalization of Africa's Day of the Seas and Oceans. I look forward to a robust panel discussion on the subject themes and positive outcome. For our part, IMO's work in both the regulatory arena and in terms of technical cooperation and capacity building makes significant contribution to the global efforts to combat the degradation and overexploitation of the marine environment. This year, our theme for the World Maritime Day celebration is Connecting Ships, Ports, and People. As a UN agency, IMO has a strong commitment to helping achieve the aims of Sustainable Development Goals. Shipping and ports can play a significant role in helping to create conditions for increased employment, prosperity, the stability through promoting maritime trade. The port and maritime sectors are wealth creators with untapped potential, both on land and at sea. In addition, and in particular in the case of Africa, the importance and the key and pivotal role of the port sector extends beyond the national borders of the African continental states, as the ports along the shores of Africa serve the trade and contribute to the socio-economic development of all the landlocked countries on the continent. As I conclude this goodwill message, I would like all of you to reflect on the current position of Africa vis-a-vis some important statistics in global shipping. I believe that such reflections would provide additional impetus to your discussion during this two-day event. And here it is. According to the 2016 UNCTAD Review of Maritime Transport in Africa, of the 35 ship-owning countries in the world, which make up approximately 95% of world ship tonnage, none is an African country. Furthermore, in the share of vessel ownership by country grouping, developing countries in Africa own only 1.23%, while their counterparts in Asia own 36.24%. From other sources, Africa represents only 0.9% of shipping yards and marine equipment industries. The list goes on. I, however, believe and confident that your association and indeed your governments will, when considering such statistics, seriously take into account the history of the national shipping lines and the reasons for their demise, the very high level of risk which is involved in investing in shipping industry, and the benefits for wider public which can be realized if funds were to be spent towards achieving national sustainable development priorities. Distinguished guests, Your Excellency, I look forward to the positive and implementable outcome of your conference. IMO will continue to partner with Africa in the provision of the necessary technical assistance in both human and institutional capacity building. I wish you all well as you deliberate on the future of maritime Africa. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Azu, representing His Excellency, the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, Mr. Kita Klim. Please let's appreciate the IMO man who works for IMO. And he has delivered to us the goodwill message.